Ladies and gentlemen, it is my enormous pleasure and privilege to introduce Sir David Attenborough. Now, one of the things that I love about Sir David is that when we met this evening, he said, I know you've got questions on your cards, ignore all of them. Ask me anything you like. So I shall.
Very well.
As we've heard, you've been a long-term supporter of the work of WFN, but you are a person that almost every conservation charity in the world would want as their supporter. Why choose Whitley?
Because when 25 years ago, it was an extraordinary thing that one man should decide that he was going to do something himself. He wasn't going to tie himself with anybody else. He had a very clear vision. And he said, I will do it. And he gave up his career elsewhere, which was certainly beckoning him and certainly had great opportunities in order to do this. And he did it with one idea in mind, and that is that there are in the world individuals who have a vision and a passion, and no amount of organizations or rules or models can replace the passion of one man who is dedicated. And there's a kind of symmetry in this, in that he also saw that it's no good people sitting here telling people over there what to do, but there are equally people like him or her who equally have that sort of passion and who are dedicated to looking after the natural world, often focused on one particular species, but dedicated. And it is that parallel between him determined to get the wherewithal to do this in order to give those individual people the wherewithal to do it. Very simple, but very powerful. And I thought, this is a man who has a mission, and anything I can do to help him, I would certainly do.
And you made the very good point there that, you know, the WFN remit is to support local conservationists, local scientists working locally. But also within that remit is this very strong desire that what they're doing is good for communities, for their communities, you know, as well as the animals or habitats that they're trying to support. And again, you know, there was always that sense of conservation tended to slightly ignore the human factor, but at its peril. Do you agree?
Absolutely. And that was the other point, that these people with this passion which we describe, often focused on one particular species, weren't strangers. They weren't people coming from different communities, different economic systems from across the ocean, come and tell local people what to do. They were one of the local people. And who could be more convincing than such people? People with a passion, who know because their relatives are around there, because their communities are there, because their language is there, and because the knowledge and insight into the world, natural world, was also what was there. And that what was needed was the ability to press a button to release that, to that huge energy, that huge passion, that huge knowledge in order to deal with a particular problem. And every single one of the winners that I've seen over these past 25 years actually has that. And they're very remarkable people. Some of them are here who have already been introduced. And there are lots more over the last 25 years. Yeah, many of them. And maybe the one thing that even Edward may not have foreseen was that what this did was to bring like-spirited individuals together and form a network that is worldwide. Throughout the world, there are Whitley winners, and they've themselves formed a community in which they exchange ideas and insights and passions. So this is a remarkable organization, done, if I may say so, on a shoestring.
Yeah. Although our goal tonight is not a shoestring.
No.
Our goal tonight is to try and raise £1 million.
But the shoestring I was referring to was what he spent on his organization.
Absolutely.
And that shoestring has led to a whole tapestry of finance.
Well, it is an extraordinarily effective organisation.
Yes.
And, you know, the goal tonight, I mean, as I say, you know, it's £1 million, it's a huge amount of money. And a word that we're going to hear a lot this evening is continuation funding, and that's what this 25th anniversary fund is going to be. Can you explain what that term means? What is continuation funding, and why is it so important?
Well, it's very tempting, and I'm at one remove from this, and I'm not really the best person to talk about it. But
I bet you can have a good go, though.
But it's perfectly simple. You can see someone doing something marvelous with a pangolin or a bird of paradise or whatever, and you can say, wonderful, and here's the finance, and get on with it. But actually, that's very short-sighted, because if it's good, it's a center of excellence, it's a center of growing, and the bird of paradise or the pangolin or whatever it was hasn't suddenly become absolutely immortal and safe. It was in danger, and it's still in danger, and it needs helping, it needs continuation. So having lit the flame, what you have to do is to go on feeding it.
And by offering previous WFN winners this opportunity to apply for funds, they can't just get it. They can't just phone up Whitley and say, bung us another 100,000. To apply for these funds gives them an opportunity to be even more effective, as you say, long term. And that's the crucial thing.
I believe so. Because it's no good just starting something and getting it going, getting it successful, and then say, well, good afternoon.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that needs feeding, and that needs protecting and spreading, which I'm convinced it will do.
Just finally, you talked about, you know, these are individuals that we're helping, that WFN is supporting. The news recently was very gloomy. We've lost 60% of our biodiversity in a terrifyingly short amount of time. Is it realistic to think that these individuals, however hardworking, however dedicated, however energetic, however well supported, really can make a difference?
Well, I don't know who it was who said it, and I'm quite sure it's a truism. But the fact of the matter is that every journey, long journey, starts with a single footstep. And what these individuals have done is much more than a single footstep. I mean, they've already advanced well along the road. So I believe that these individuals that have been supported by the Whitley Fund will be the centers in which, say, spread the message and the knowledge and the zest and the enthusiasm to all over their community. So these are seeds. They aren't fruits. They are seeds. And Whitley has seen that possibility and done marvellous things already with it, and I know will do much more, even more than that.
Sir David, always a pleasure. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.